What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 12th episode of Speaking of Stadia. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Cini, and as with me always is my favorite John Krasinski on the internet, too tall himself, the bearded beauty, Jacob Porter. Jacob, how are you, my friend?
Good. I was talking to my wife. I think I'm gonna be growing it out starting now. I'm debating. I may trim it one more time and then just grow it out until like February or March. But yeah, usually I grow it out at least once a year, really long.
All right.
Like here. But
I hope we have more YouTube people than audio listeners because I gave you the best crazy eyes ever.
I've been throwing
So
you crazy
into
eyes
it.
this whole beginning.
I love it. Oh my God, that's
intro.
incredible.
Yeah.
How am I doing, you ask?
Yes.
Terrible. So awful. I had the worst week of my life this week. And it wasn't anything personal or work related. It was due to the terrible humans on Twitter who couldn't take 2 seconds to back me. And I lost. I lost this poll, as you saw. Thank you. Yes, right there in recording. Mel fell. You heard it. He backed me. That's right, my homeboy. She thought that you'd stick with her, and you didn't. Anyways, I'm sure you saw the feud. Me and Mel Felker went to town over who was more sus because Instagram banned her, rightfully so. And I said that they should have kept her banned, and they did not. Anyways, I was destroyed in that poll. Absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
So, Mel, here it is. This is your apology. You are not sus at all. You deserve an Instagram account. And I'm sorry I ever started this war with someone who would crush me. So you win. And you have a recording that you win.
And she probably won't watch this at all.
Oh no, she's pumped. She said she was like sending it out to everyone just for proof that she won. All jokes aside, it's been a good week. It was busy. It's very busy.
You actually were working a lot.
I was working a ton.
That was me last 2 weeks. Like not this week actually was pretty light because I got my big submissions out the door.
Nice.
On Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
this was I put in 2 days of 13 plus hours, like no lunch.
Yeah.
Just had to grind it out. And, oh well. You know what kept me sane though? Video games.
Yeah.
I want to get a little bit of that Stadia,
Mm-hmm.
Which leads us to the first topic of our show every week. What have you been playing, Jacob? Tell me about it.
Stadia and non-Stadia. I've been telling you about this, and I haven't really been able to vent about it over the last month because we haven't recorded.
Right.
Board games have been a big part of my life.
A little bit.
I've been maybe dropping some money on Kickstarter right now. This month is not a good month.
Took out a second mortgage to fuel this habit.
No, not that bad.
I'm just kidding.
But I'm dropping some serious money this month on 3 Kickstarters. Three. One's a lot smaller. Nice. One's $30. The other ones are bigger boxes.
Now, when you kickstart a board game, tell me about this. Do they is it people who have made other board games?
Sometimes
they have a new project.
A lot of them, the board game industry is all funneled through Kickstarter now. That makes up over a third of Kickstarter's revenue is board game.
What?
Yeah. The board games are mass. The board game industry runs through Kickstarter.
That's ridiculous.
Because it's a way a lot of first time developers or smaller developers to get their stuff out the door, and then they can do reprints, they can do expansions. I'm learning a lot over the last few months about it.
That's wild.
Yeah, I play tested one. There was this developer who I backed their game last year, their first game. This is their second game.
Usually, you play tested.
I actually play tested on Tabletop Simulator or TTS.
Oh, okay. So they actually do bug fixes and stuff like that for you.
Yeah. Test out mechanics, especially in COVID times. They can't play test the games. They would at conventions and whatnot have people actually come over and play.
Hold on. There's board game conventions. There's conventions.
PAX. Oh, well, have you ever been to a PAX?
No.
PAX actually has a board game section, at least PAX East.
Wow.
Yeah, they actually actually in Philly they do a PAX Unplugged too.
I'm
not sure what else they do, but no, I know Philly is PAX Unplugged, at least on the East Coast. And then in Boston they have a whole board game section where actually me and my wife spent most of our time in the board game section. I actually bought a few games while I was there.
Incredible.
So yeah, that's why I've always been into board games. Never really got super into the hobby. Always my friend who lives around the corner from me has tons of board games, so I'll play a lot with him. So, but I've been playing a lot of board games on TTS with my friends via via the internets through Steam, which is actually on sale right now, $10 for their because Steam is doing their game Tabletop Fest. It's a pretty cool
You
one.
talked me into that, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to play
Yeah,
games.
I want to play board games soon. Especially that game I backed because it's actually really fun.
Nice.
And besides that, I've been playing a lot of the new games we got from the good stuff, which I don't want to spoil too much of.
Sure.
But I played
We'll get there.
some Pac-Man and some Phoenix, and
Yep,
well, Immortals Phoenix Rising. Not a great
Terrible
name.
name. Not a good name. Good
Not-
game, but not a good name.
Not the worst name I've ever heard, but it's not great. But I played a bit of that. We played Dead by Daylight recently. I played.
Yep.
I've actually playing. Jumped back into Monster Boy
Okay.
again, and
nice.
I'm still really enjoying that. I'm like, I think it says I'm like about a third of the way through, but I think I looked at a walkthrough just to see how far I was. I think I'm about halfway through or beyond, a little bit beyond halfway. I think
Okay.
it's more of a completion, like getting all the collectibles and whatnot. Is that meter? Because when you look at your save, it has a little percentage.
Nice.
But
But that's everything, right?
I think that's everything.
Okay.
Because just looking at the story, like the walkthrough or a guide, like see what levels, I'm at the halfway point or beyond a little bit.
Nice.
Like I have,
How many animals have you unlocked?
I have 4
Pig, snake.
pig, snake, frog, and lion.
Okay, cool.
I think I had the dragon and the regular transformation back. I only know about the dragon because I've seen the trailers and I've seen.
And it's on the cover. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's on the cover.
Wait,
But yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's in the intro,
think-
like anime opening.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure you
Well,
turn into a dragon.
That's actually a pretty good.
Oh
okay,
yeah, I mean it's
super
solid.
nice.
My son wants to watch that show, which doesn't exist.
Yes.
Based off that intro.
Yeah, no, it's but yeah, I think I'm at the level where I'm at the volcano, so I'm pretty sure I'm
Okay.
gonna get that seems like a thematic place to get the dragon. So
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's absolutely fair. Nice. That's awesome.
so that's mostly what I've been playing. I'm playing a lot of Hades too on Steam.
Okay.
Or actually, Epic. Actually, that's an Epic Game Store. I got that back in early access. Played it a bunch when it first came out, like a lot. I'm like, I'm good. I get what this game is. I love it. I want to come back to it when it's done.
Fair.
And now I'm back. It's came out earlier this month, and in the 1.0 release, it's also on Switch too. And it's a fantastic game. It's probably one of the best. I don't play a ton of roguelikes. I've only played like Rogue Legacy. I played. Oh, well, I guess I played Binding of Isaac and Flint Hook are like the three I've like sunk some time into. Oh, and Enter the Gungeon. This is my favorite one of all those. So if you
Nice.
like any of those games, this is my favorite.
I
one
love
of those.
Binding of Isaac, so
Binding of Isaac is good, but this Binding of Isaac is good mechanically, but this is
Sure.
the story. Mechanics are fantastic. Story is fantastic. Music is perfect as always. So
Amazing.
no, it's the full package to me.
that's
Like,
awesome.
and how they put a narrative, actually deep and meaningful narrative into this game, a roguelike, where it's like they built in the death mechanic into the story, which is cool.
Okay.
It's just really well done. The voice acting is fantastic. It's very. I
Sweet.
recommend everyone to play.
I will be downloading.
And like I said, I really wish it was on Stadia. I wish they put all
Yeah.
super giant games, but I'm a big fanboy of Super Giant. So
Nice.
Amazing. That's pretty much all I've been playing, mostly, honestly. Tabletop Simulator, Hades, and those few games on Stadia. I haven't had a ton of time because I've been busy with work.
Sure.
But I do want to play one of the games from the good stuff, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Nice.
What have you been playing? I know you've been playing one of the games.
One of the games that has absolutely captured me like I didn't think it would. It didn't seem like my jam, but I was so pumped and I wanted to support Stadia getting it early. So I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going for it. And I picked up Baldur's Gate 3. And I am in love with that freaking game. I recently got into D&D within the last year and a half.
Speaking of Tabletop Simulator, by the way, a lot of D&D games happen on Tabletop Simulator.
I believe it.
And you could, if your D&D group, you can buy a 4-pack of that thing for $30 right now.
Oh my God.
Gift it to your friends, and then like they can all play it.
I love it. Anyways, this is literally playing a D&D campaign by myself, and it's fantastic. I'm absolutely in love with the mechanics, absolutely in love with how it works. The choices are all incredible, and there's like a narrator, so it's even like you have a DM right there. Yeah. Oh,
I heard people
I'm
mention
so
it.
in
I
love.
haven't watched any gameplay of it, honestly. Besides like the what they showed a few months ago. That's all I've seen of the gameplay, really.
I mean, it is straight up D&D. Like you have a movement speed, and then you have so many actions, and you have to get through it, and then
You can do
you roll
action
for initiative
surge.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's everything I love about D&D in terms of like the strategy and how it all works, and like thinking through all the parts, and then even like the choices feel so much heavier than like even like a game like Mass Effect, where you have all the dialogue options and everything that BioWare does, which is fantastic. And I love games like that. But this one, like, because I've played D&D, I'm so nervous about like every single dialogue choice I'm going to make. And like, is this going to lead me down a different path? And I am doing every check I possibly can. And I'm failing at rolls and being disappointed, just like I am in D&D, or succeeding and getting like super pumped. No, it's absolutely fantastic. I find myself, even after a really long day of work, like I love to put in about 30 minutes to an hour of that.
That's good. That's good that you can play in those kind of chunks and still enjoy it. That's
100%. Yeah.
Especially
You
for a very
don't feel like you have to
narrative game,
marathon it at all, which
Okay,
is
good.
amazing.
It's great for Stadia then too.
Yes, because that's how I've been playing it. I set up my laptop. It's absolutely a mouse and keyboard style game. I haven't tried it with a controller, but I don't want to. And yeah, like I sit down on the couch, we have a show on or something, pop up the laptop, play like 30 minutes and just get my fix or whatever. And then there's also times that I do play it for, 2 to 3 hours, and I also love it. So I've probably put I would say I'm about 7 hours in, and top notch.
Awesome.
Other than that, I've been still playing a little bit of Hitman, really enjoying that. That's been a lot of fun. I knew I slept on that game, but now it's on Stadia and I can play it anywhere. And then on xCloud, I've been wanting to check that out again, because I got a new controller. I got the Razer Kishi. Yeah, Kishi.
I think it's Kishi.
I think you're right. It's the one that like clips onto each side of your phone, and it's USB-C supported. So it turns your phone into a Switch, but with better games. Absolutely awesome.
Full res game. I would say better. Better is subjective, but full res games.
No, I'm just kidding.
But also
full res and like
have you used
it?
Sorry, quick aside. Have you used it with Stadia too? And how?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and it works fantastic. Yeah. And there's a through port for charging, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. So you plug the USB cord into the bottom of the right side of the controller, and it literally feeds power into your phone.
Nice.
So you can charge your phone while you're still playing.
Yeah, passwords like that are really, really useful, especially for
absolutely incredible.
Especially when using for gaming, where you may drain the battery pretty quickly in like 2-3 hours. So
yeah, exactly. So because of that, I've been playing a lot of different things that I feel like are suited for mobile. And xCloud, I started Ori recently for the first time. Fantastic.
Ori 1 or 2?
1.
Okay. Latency wise, how did you feel with that game?
I'm not super far into it. I just started it last night.
Okay.
But I didn't notice anything, and it ran really smooth. That game is gorgeous. I didn't really know anything. Again, it was one of those games I just kind of slept on.
I went in during the Project Steam. That's the Stadia one. xCloud beta, whatever they call it.
Oh yeah.
I tried it then. I had a lot of latency issues where I was dying a lot because of the platforming, because of the delay.
And like you said, it's a very floaty game already.
It is,
so like you cannot deal with latency in something like that. Again, I'll report back next episode to tell you if I notice anything more significant. But the game itself is gorgeous. I love the music. It starts off very emotional. I was taken aback by how surprised I was at how much I was enjoying that.
I wish the combat was a little more rewarding. The combat's kind of there, and I feel like I know they fixed a lot of that. That was a big gripe with the first one. I know in 2 they fixed a lot of that combat issues. But I made it probably through like 25% of that game, I think, before so I got pretty far into it. I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed my time with it. It was a beautiful game. It's
absolutely gorgeous.
The latency issue and me dying more often than I would want to kind of frustrated me at times. So I just kind of.
And then last but not least, I played some Jotun tonight.
Yes.
Jotun, so yeah, Jotunheim.
Yes.
I swear I'm smart. It's fine. Anyways, Jotun, me and the kid jumped into that for a little bit, made it to the very first boss, which was pretty difficult. I enjoy it. I'm not sure it's gonna grip me. I'll be honest. Like if I'm gonna complete it, like the gameplay, it's gorgeous. Love a lot of the music and sound design. The combat seems fun. Even the boss fight that I was in was pretty cool. but I don't know if the gameplay loop is enough
Okay.
to keep me going. So we'll see. Still enjoying it, and I've watched a little bit of gameplay on it, so I know that you're gonna like unlock new abilities and stuff like that. So maybe it'll get a little bit more interesting for me. But I had the gut instinct, even getting all the way to that first boss and like really trying to roll through that I was like, we'll see. I feel like it's not gonna be quite that for me. So
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how that goes with you.
Yeah.
I guess we'll transition slowly to the your call out.
My crown. That's right. So I have now said it on this podcast and on we were guests on Stadia Source, which was super fun.
Yeah, the Roundtable podcast.
The Roundtable podcast, yep. Shout out to Avery and his team. Those guys are awesome.
That was really fun.
It was so fun, and he did an awesome job hosting it. I was really nervous when I first got on and saw all the guests, and I chatted him this, so it's no surprise if he listens to the episode. I was like, oh my god, how are we gonna do this? We're all gonna be shouting over each other because there was 8 guests.
Yeah.
And no, he runs that thing so well. He knows how to direct his questions, and like, if you guys don't listen to the Roundtable podcast, go check it out. It's so good. He definitely makes sure everybody has time to speak. He makes sure everybody gets their input in, and nobody's shouting over each other. So I was very impressed with the experience. Me and you had a ball.
Awesome.
But anyways, back to the main point was on that podcast and our podcast, I have now called it twice. I said, you heard it here first, Cyberpunk day and date on Stadia, and they announced it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm pumped.
I mean, I know you're all in. You already pre-ordered it.
I'm all in. I pre-ordered it. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's paid off. I'm ready to go. Yeah. There's no reason to pre-order a game on Stadia. I do get that. I don't care. Yeah. Like, I had the $60. Take my money.
Was there
I don't need to think about it later.
Any bonus like skins or whatnot in it, or
not that I saw?
Because I know with like I think Immortals, they're doing a
like they do a gold edition.
They're like an extra mission or something like that. It's like so.
Yeah, and you can pre-order the gold edition, which will get you like a bunch of different armor and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, I'm pumped. Like again, I already said I pre-ordered it. I'm ready for day one. This was a game that I've been looking forward to since 2013. First announcement. Like,
was it really that long ago? God.
Yeah, isn't that wild? And then when I found out it was coming to Stadia, I was like, that's what I'm getting it on, because I don't do giant games. I mean, I want to, and I love to jump into them, but I never beat them.
Well, that's like we'll talk about it later. Like, that's with me, the Assassin's Creed games. It's like I want to play this game, but I don't want to spend 120 hours, 180, like, even 80 hours is a lot for me. Like I have The Last of Us 2. I had The Last of Us 2 installed on my PlayStation 4 downstairs right now, and I haven't even touched it because it's 30 hours. I'm like, do I want to sit through 30 hours right now of a game?
You can get it done in 22.
Just just
mainline this. Like, I love The Witcher 3. I really do. But I've never beat it because it's just too big.
Well, that's another game you were playing on xCloud as well recently.
It ran like trash.
Oh yeah, you were saying so.
It was so bad. I didn't even finish a mission of Witcher 3 on xCloud, sadly. And again, but that's the thing, is I want the CD Projekt Red style games. I want these massive open worlds on something that I can play anywhere. And just like I was talking about Baldur's Gate, something that I can jump into for 30 minutes to an hour if I have time, do a couple side quests, jump out, cool. And not constantly have to take up my TV. Also, I have a 9-year-old. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the rating for Cyberpunk. It's rated triple XM for mature. Yeah. It's graphic nudity, graphic sexual content, graphic language, graphic violence, drug use. I was like, well, I'm never going to be able to play this with him around. But still having that ability to like maybe play on my phone when I can and things like that, stuff that I can kind of keep them away from it. Yeah, exactly. So it was to the point that even though I've been looking forward to this game since 2013, you know, I was telling friends like, you know, with the Stadia delay, I might wait. Like, that's how much I want it on a anywhere platform, where I can throw it on my laptop or whatever. So man, I was stoked. The second they were like, "We have news for Stadia today," I was like, "Day and date. I've been saying it. Let's go." So I'm pumped.
Awesome. I'm
Where are you at?
glad. I mean, with that game, I don't know where I am in games. Like, I'm not feeling really deep. Like I said, Last of Us 2, I don't want to sink my time into it right now. Like,
Sure.
Ghost of Tsushima is a game I really want to play. I'm hearing great things about the new Legends
also
too.
fun.
Have you played Legends yet or no? Because I heard it's fantastic.
I haven't had a chance. No,
I heard it. Everyone's saying like it's way better than it has any right to be. Like, it's just so good.
Ghost of Tsushima is another prime example of this, though. Like, I was
Exactly,
in love with that game, and I still haven't beat it.
Yeah. So it's
And I keep coming back to it, but whew,
yeah, it's just a big time sink when I have
yeah,
maybe 8 hours a week to a free time, like if that because I need to spend time with my wife more. Like, I'm not spend I need to delegate my time better. I need to study for my FE, which I haven't been doing when I'm supposed to be doing. And then there's like my daughter's birthday, and then there's like I have so much going on outside, and plus work's been killing me. So it's like I only have so much time. Like, do I want to sit down and play 30, 40, 50 plus hour game, or do I want to sit down and play a game I can maybe get through in 10 hours?
right.
Or 10, 20 hours, like something a little bit more digestible, like,
Yeah.
or even like Hades. I can do a run of Hades and like feel like I accomplished something, like,
Sure.
I don't know. So yeah, where I am, like, games like Assassin's Creed and Cyberpunk look beautiful, they look awesome. I have like no hype for them though, just because
Fair.
I don't, and then like I don't know, I don't want something that's super. I'm very much a narrative person. It's like I'm a PlayStation guy for the narrative games, like,
Right. Yeah.
but it's like right now my headspace with having a 1-year-old this past year has kind of like changed that a bit, which is weird happening to me. It's just weird. I go through gaming phases all the time too. I mean,
Me
it's
too.
happened before. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm like, didn't play a game for like a year, and then Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch came out. I'm like, I'm dropping everything. I'm playing this game. Like, screw classes. I'm playing this game, and that game was like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's a top 5 favorite game. I love that game. So like, I was in a weird rut, and that game got me out of it. Like, so, but yeah, Cyberpunk, I have no real hype for. I'm excited for everyone else that is excited for it though, and I'll probably play it at some point. I'm sure in some capacity.
You're the best of us, Porter. That's the most important thing to say. I don't have hype for it, but I'm hyped for those who are.
Exactly.
Hyped.
So
no reason.
I mean, I like to make fun of Martin for being delayed once, but that's just fun.
It's only because he talks so much shit about Stadia all the time that all you can do is combat it with Cyberpunk stuff because he's so hyped about this game.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I'll say I have a little bit of hesitation getting it on Stadia. I think it's going to be fine. I really do. I have the utmost faith in this tech at this point.
In terms of performance, you're
yeah, I am. I think this is their biggest test in terms of tech.
Doom was a pretty good test though. I would say in terms of speed and momentum, and having that
and graphics and like fidelity and all that. And I mean, it got an A.
It got like a B to start off, and
right.
Came an A
they patched it, and then it got a little better. Yeah, that's true. So I will say that, not to ever. Well, no, we're not necessarily biased. Like, we love Stadia, obviously, but like, I always have the back of my mind.
We're very critical of Stadia too. So.
Yes, exactly. We have no problems like being open and honest about this stuff. But NBA 2K21 is what's constantly running in the back of my mind. I returned it. It was absolutely unplayable. First game I've ever had that bad of an experience on Stadia. And maybe they'll patch it. Maybe I'll come back to it. But it was to the point that like I'd be driving down court and it froze. And then when it caught up, my guys were literally running into the crowd and I was out of bounds and they gave the other team the ball. Like, unacceptable amounts of freezing. And this was wired. Like, I had my Ethernet plugged in while I was trying to play it. So it's unfair because I put that against all the other games I've played on Stadia who have run just fine. But there's this little part that I'm like, man, Cyberpunk is so big and so pretty. Like, what if? But then I throw that thought away because even if for some reason that is the case, they'll refund me in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Their refund policy is incredible.
Yeah, I know. Like, I with Darksiders Genesis, when I got that, I didn't realize that how they added money. Like, because I went and bought it through my credit card by accident instead of using my Google Play credit because I had a ton of rewards money through there. Yeah. So I'm like, I refunded it literally in 2 seconds and then got And even with apps too, like I actually I was trying to get Red Zone because Sling didn't have Red Zone quite yet. So then I tried getting it through the NFL app, and I signed up through Red Zone, but you can't send it to your Chromecast for some reason.
So
So I'm
you're
like,
like,
I'm like,
nope.
no refund. I'm like, how do I refund this? I found the purchase and refunded it, and literally refunded like that. Like, cool, awesome. Like, it's Google in general is pretty good about that.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So
Sweet.
speaking, besides the that good news of Cyberpunk coming day and date, we got some great news this week. 3 days
Yeah.
of good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, want me to run through it, like what
Yep.
each day, and we can kind of talk about how we thought about the whole thing. So
Love
the
it.
first day we got Jedi Fallen Order's date, which was November 24th, if I'm remembering correctly. I actually do
Mhm.
not
I
have it
believe
up.
so.
So November 24th, that's the first of the EA games we're going to be getting. We already have Madden and FIFA, which Madden was supposed to be fall, but at that point, I guess technically fall is like early December, but like not really.
Yeah.
Not in the minds of everyone else.
No.
Like I think the winter solstice is technically like the 12th of December, but or like around that range. But then and FIFA's supposed to be in the winter, so it's like November 24th. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But anywho, and then we what was the but I'm blanking on the second thing we got. Oh, we got I'm blanking on the second thing. The first day. I had it too, and I'm like,
Hello Neighbor? Pac-Man?
no, Pac-Man was the third announcement
was...
for first day, and Hello Neighbor was the second day. Why am I blanking on the? Because it was like such a like not for me kind of thing. I'm blanking on what it was.
Obviously I am too. Obviously
Yeah.
it also wasn't
Okay,
for me.
well I'll figure it out. I'll look up an article while we're talking. So the second day we got Orcs Must Die, their DLC
Mm-hmm.
for that, which was good enough.
Yeah.
I wasn't upset by it by any means. Um, yeah, wow, I really should have picked an article for this because I'm blanking on the other thing too.
We were both whelmed by day one.
By day one.
That was
I think that's the
words.
first thing was people were really hyped about it, but I just wasn't, and it just like I'm like okay. My goodness, what am I doing with myself?
I'm trying to find it for you too.
Yeah, I know. I'm like so mad at myself right now. I was so confident too. Like I know what they announced them every single day. Like they announced 9 things and 2 of them like just trailers for a lot of stuff. But
anyways, we'll keep going.
We'll keep
going.
going.
Day...
So day 2 we had the Orcs Must Die teaser. We got I think that was Outcast, which is what we got a little trailer, and we got Humankind. And Humankind's a game I actually really want to play. I grew up playing a lot of RTSs, and I'm excited to get into that hopefully this weekend.
Yeah,
I just haven't had the free time since that was a few days ago.
It's the only one I haven't tried out of the demos too.
Yeah. So
Ark Survival was day 2, right?
Ark was okay. Yeah, it was another big game. Ark.
Or no, that was day 1. Ark was the big announcement on day 1.
No,
Ark they said early 2021.
No, Ark was day 2. Ark was day 2.
Oh my god, we're so bad at this. Fake fans.
But you're right though. Ark was the one I was missing on day 2. Or no, wait, maybe you're right. Because maybe it was Hello Engineer was the first day. I think you were actually right the whole time. Hello Engineer, I think, was the first day, and Ark was the second day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure. So because that was the big second thing, and they went through all the stuff, and then it shows the neighbor at the very end with the big giant spider guy, and
yeah, because the third day we had 2 games. One I never heard of, and one is going to be first on Stadia. The first on Stadia one is going to be Young Souls, which actually looks really cool. The art style is really, really unique for that.
Yeah.
Like almost like 2D, almost like cell shaded kind of style. I think a 2.5D like it looked interesting because like it looks like you wander around the world and you run into combat and then you're in like a zone, almost like a Final Fantasy, like the more modern Final Fantasies where you're kind of in like an active battle area,
right,
which looks really cool. and then Phoenix Point, which is like a strategy game in the same vein as like XCOM,
Right.
which looked cool. It's been out for, I think it came out last year. I looked it up. But no, or sorry, first announced it came out in 2019. So yeah, it's that looks really cool. And then we got Phoenix. I keep saying the title wrong. It's Immortals Phoenix Rising. I keep saying Phoenix Immortals Rising. I don't know
Immortals.
why.
Phoenix Rising. It's a bad name.
It's a
In
bad
every
name.
sense of the word, it's a bad name.
It's not great. I've heard worse names, but it's a bad name.
That's fair. There is definitely worse, but
So-
let's stop and talk about that a little bit. You played the demo, right?
Phoenix or Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Rising
Yes.
Phoenix Immortals.
Yeah, I played that. Beat it in about 50 minutes. I know you can explore a lot more. I kind of more or less mainlined it.
I straight up mainlined it.
Yeah,
I hustled through that thing. It took me less than an hour.
yeah. I'd say about 50 minutes is what I did.
Yeah.
But no, it was. I thought it was played great. It plays. I
Mhm.
really need to change the bindings though, because I do not. They love the triggers for attacking, but it just for shooting games it makes sense. For hack and slash games, literally
Okay.
no game uses that control scheme except for Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed.
I wanted to see if this would come up organically, so I didn't chat you while I was playing the demo because you had already played it.
Yeah.
I lost my mind. I was like, "What do you mean
I kept
R1 is light attack and R2 is like heavy
I kept
attack? Are you
dashing. I
kidding?"
kept dashing. I'm like,
All the time. All the time. I was like, what is happening? There was times like even in that final Cyclops fight, I was just messing it up because I was hitting the wrong
Yeah.
buttons.
Yeah, I think maybe it was Avery or someone on Twitter I saw posted like an alternative button layout that they used for it because they were having so many issues, I guess, too. And that's part of the reason why I didn't like Assassin's Creed thing too. Like it got like because that's the attack. That's the button layout for Assassin's Creed as well. I mean, like,
It is?
yeah.
I've played it. And I don't remember that.
Yeah, because I remember the L1 R1 is paired. It's literally the same exact battle system as Assassin's Creed.
Oh my god. It's terrible. That is not how I do things.
Yep. So, but yeah,
Oof.
other than that, which you can change, obviously you can still remap
Yeah.
the buttons.
That
but
is my only complaint.
I hope they add options. Like I hope they just have different controller options and have the preset change each binding.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
but no, the game played well. I thought it was really
Mhm.
pretty. The humor was really spot on. I feel like because the tutorial, because it's so condensed, it was a lot. So I feel like if it was that much, that frequent of dialogue from Zeus and I think it was
Prometheus.
It was Prometheus, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm like,
That's the name of a movie.
yeah. So if it was that the whole game, I think I would get grading. But for that 50-minute chunk of a tutorial, I expect a lot of narration anyway. So.
Sure. So I thought the humor, I didn't know anything about it. You just said it was really good. So I sat down with my 9-year-old.
The writing
to
was
play
clever
today. He didn't laugh as much as I thought he would.
Mm.
But I'll say this. I laughed more than I thought I would.
Okay.
So even though it's not necessarily adult humor, it's so cleverly written that it's not like bluntly in his face. Like he chuckled a few times, but there was no like stupid jokes necessarily versus I agree with you. It's well written to where I thought a lot of the jokes kind of landed for me. Again, just clever writing. The banter between Zeus and Prometheus was hysterical.
Yeah, I like the framing for the story too. It's them like telling you a storybook essentially of like
Right.
this
And
character's
Zeus
story, and they're like just changing the
hates
story
the-
as it goes.
Right. And Zeus like hates the actual story, so he's just trying to flavor it up and have fun with it. And when you get to the battle where they're like, and then it's this, and they're like, no, it's a griffin, and then Prometheus says something stupid like it's a pack of wild chickens, and Zeus is like, oh my god, I love that. Yeah, she fought a pack of wild chickens, and then you have to fight all these chickens. Like it's
silly.
it's
Like, it's
well
just silly.
done. I'd also like to say out of all the good stuff this week, this was not just Immortals, but the smartest thing they did was release 3 demos to 3 demographics that are very different games.
Yep.
And said, you don't need pro, you don't have to pay,
Just
literally just
Gmail account,
Gmail account
and a
and whatever
controller
controller
or
is near
device.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
and
you
you're
might even
good.
work keyboard and mouse if you I'll say for humankind, it supports gamepad. I'm like I'm playing on a keyboard and mouse. Like I can't play a strategy game.
An RTS with a controller. No.
Yeah.
What is this? Halo Wars.
Yeah.
So I will say
That game got a sequel. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was pretty popular. I'll say, like, I just thought how they did it was very impressive. I thought they did a great job of trying to bring people in. Me and you have both corrected people on the internet, unfortunately, who still didn't quite get it. They're like, "I'm not buying a Stadia for this."
I'm not buying.
Like,
I'm not gonna. Sorry. Yeah. The one guy on kind of funny said, yeah, I'm not just gonna buy a controller just for this. I really wish it came to other platforms. I'm like, you don't need another controller. You can literally just log on to anything that can run Chrome,
and
use
you're
your own
good.
controller. He's like, wait, really? I'm like,
yeah. So I think that speaks
twice.
to Stadia's messaging too, like early on was too confusing, but now like, and again, all it takes is people like us to say, no, you literally just use any controller and log in and you're good to go. And every response has been, oh, I am going to try this.
Wasn't for, or people like, oh, it was really fun and actually ran really well, or I had one hiccup here, otherwise it ran awesome. Like,
yeah,
so
the feedback we saw,
honestly,
for somebody who's in a video game group who tends to troll us for talking about Stadia, which is fine, that, you know, most of it's fun, whatever. The amount of comments we saw when you were like, you can play Immortals right now for free with whatever you have. Go check it out and see if it's for you. I couldn't believe the comments that were like, oh, I am going to do that. And then followed up with, yeah, it ran well. It was fun. I'm looking forward to this. And sure, even if, you know, most of those people go buy it on their preferred console, I think this was a massive win for these guys.
Exactly. It gets the headspace about, oh, it runs like trash out of the picture, because a lot of people were like, yeah, I can't wait to play on PlayStation 5. I'm like, that's fine. I'm glad you tried Stadia.
Stoked.
I'm glad you tried it.
Exactly.
Because
I don't care where you buy it. I'm super pumped you tried it.
Yeah, it just gets the what's, I'm looking on the word, not headspace, but the dialogue around Stadia is more, excuse me, the beer. It is just in a more positive light right now because of that. I do wish the 3 demos, I wish there were longer periods, because like a game like Humankind, finding time to play a game that's good. Civ games historically take hours to play through a whole round of it. So having only a week to play it, it's a little tough. Like, even me, I'm like, I hope I find time this weekend to play it for like an hour. At least, like, I want to find time this week to play that game, because that's, I grew up playing a lot of Age of Empires. Actually, Age of Mythology is I get a lot of hate for this, but Age of Mythology is my favorite of the Age of games. I love Greek mythology, so whatever. And then I played a lot of Stronghold Crusaders was another one I played a lot. I never played a Civ game. I actually have Civ 5 and just never played it. My friend's like, oh, we should play Civ 5 today. I'm like, oh, let's go play like Apex Legends or something like that instead.
Yeah.
Like, let's play Valorant. Like, let's go play something different.
That's funny.
So yeah, it just, that's the game I'm excited to play. And I actually played a bunch of Pac-Man too, or like a good handful of games. I didn't really know what was going on in the game when I first booted it up. And
fair.
I kind of,
they don't really tell you.
But then I got third. It's like,
boy.
Okay, I just survived a long time and ate a lot of dots. I don't know. But you pretty much just play Pac-Man. It's like,
right.
But then I started the last game I played, I got third again, and I got really aggressive. Like, you can actually eat other people as you get a power up.
When you can eat ghosts, you can also eat
for a short period of time while you're still big. Like, you get larger, you can eat them. So I got a bunch of kills that way. I was being very aggressive. I was stunning people. I was trying to set them up to get killed. Like, you can actually kind of set people up, but it's also just about clear as you clear your area. That ends up leveling it up and making the AI smarter. The map changes each time, like, so it switches up a little bit. And it's all about points, I think, too. Like, there is points. You can still get the fruit for points and stuff like that too. So I think that helps. I don't know really how it. There has to be other. There's only one game mode, which is elimination. There has to be other game modes, I think, probably for score and stuff like that as well. I'm sure this is only having the one game mode. So, but even still, I found it fun. The customization is kind of cool, like, customize your Pac-Man a little bit. So yeah, I thought it was actually really a fun little demo. Again, I wish it was a
Nice.
little bit longer of a period. I thought like the betas being maybe 2 weeks.
Sure.
'Cause
I think that'd been
what
smart.
does it hurt? Who does it hurt? Who does it hurt?
You know what else I would have done is the beginning of Baldur's Gate has a very, very distinct opening level. It's probably about an hour to an hour and a half. I think they should have clipped that out and demoed it.
I do wish they did more for Baldur's Gate. They did show it on the third day as like a little sizzle reel, but that's it.
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
they brought it up. They did bring. I didn't say because it wasn't like a new announcement, but they did talk about it.
And while I get the other three, you demo it because they are not out yet. I actually think you would have got a lot of people to be like, "Oh crap! I actually do want to know if this is any good. I've heard it's kind of buggy, so like, let's see how it runs on Stadia." I think that could have been a really good power move on their part to be like, and here's, we released Baldur's Gate recently, early access. But if you want to check out the very first opening, that first hour is now available. And then not only do you give people a demo about a game that maybe they're excited about, but that's also going to give them purchasing power because, right now we just talked about Immortals. People are playing it, but they're going to maybe buy it on a different platform that they're more comfortable with. If you give them Baldur's Gate and they can't actually get it anywhere else other than maybe Steam, that's powerful to be like, cool, I don't have to pay a monthly subscription. I enjoyed this. I'm going to go ahead and just purchase it here.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been a good move. That was maybe one of the only things that I wouldn't even call it a misstep, just maybe something I wish would have happened in the lineup of everything they did over the 3 days.
I was wishfully thinking with Phoenix we would get a Uplay Plus announcement. Or I was really like it was long. I didn't actually think it was going to happen, but I was wishful thinking, kind of was hoping it would happen. Just because I'm not sure if you want to wrap up the. Are you good talking about the good stuff? Because I mean,
yes,
other
sir.
stuff was fine. Like Arc, I'll want to play at some point.
Yeah.
I'll try it. I've heard.
Me too.
I've
heard enough about it. I'll try it.
I know people that have literally put thousands of hours into that game.
That's
like
insane.
over 8,000 hours into Arc. That's all this girl plays. It's literally ridiculous. And they got Hello Engineer, which was like, okay, that's fun for someone. It didn't look. I don't care that universe. I tried playing the first game and didn't really care for it.
Didn't even do that, so it didn't grab me at all.
And then I already said the other two games I'm interested in. So,
yep.
And I'm disappointed about the fact we're getting Jedi so late, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I kind of guess. But
did you play it?
What Jedi?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I beat that. I bought that day one. Beat that game. That was fantastic.
Me too. And that is why I'm like, do I want to really pay for it again? Not really.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to pay for it again.
Either.
But
I'm not either.
I want people to like that game is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that game.
So good.
If you're a Star Wars fan, it's a must play. Like it's a must.
I would totally agree. It's a
even if you play the story mode,
and oh god, it's
even,
so good.
Even if you just play on the story difficulty, like just play for this. The story is awesome. So
yeah, so fun.
But to segue in from the hopeful for the Uplay stuff.
Yeah, can we just say what terrible timing to get 3 days of good stuff and have all these cool announcements, and then the creative director of Stadia Montreal,
who used to work for Ubisoft.
Yep. Comes out with like one of the most controversial takes.
Literally on the last day, like not even like 2 hours after it.
Oh my god. Posted. This is via Alex Hutchinson's Twitter. We are using Stadia Source, their article to talk about this. Also, shout out to Stadia Source once again. They are awesome. Go check them out. But anyways, Alex Hutchinson says streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they used music they didn't pay for should be more worried by the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it.
And I'll say I don't agree with his statement. He is factually true that publishers can do this. And they have done it before, aka Nintendo was the biggest culprit of doing this. So for people saying, "Oh, this is the dumbest statement I've ever heard," like it happened at one point. Nintendo did change; they are more giving to it, but it's not out of the realm of possibility to actually happen if people they decide they want to do it. So he's not wrong with anything he said. It's still a dumb statement, especially to say it right after the good stuff. When a bunch of good news is going around Stadia, and literally your bio is creative director at Google Stadia.
Right. Like come on, man. Send this tweet 5 days later.
Yeah, like exactly. Honestly, like The timing
Why?
is
Why on
unfortunate.
the coattails? It felt almost like he was. It feels like self-sabotage, but
And I don't know if
um,
was there a conversation going around about Twitter about people getting contact striked
I have
for.
no idea.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
where
Like
this came
it
from.
just seems so out of
Out of
left
left
field.
field,
Yeah.
100%. So he goes on to say on Twitter, amazing to me that people are upset at someone saying that the creators of content should be allowed to make some of the money from other people using their content for profit. Jason Schreier replied, I don't know. Maybe you're getting flack because you're picking this particular battle in a world where C-suite executives make 30 million a year and devs don't get royalties, so they'd never see any of that streaming money in the first
Exactly.
place.
That's the big talking point I think about the whole thing, and that's the narrative in a lot of it is it's yeah the publisher can do it, but the developers aren't going to see any of this. So the developers can do it, but the little guy's not gonna, it's not going to trickle down. It's just going to be the rich richer. So
Right. I'll say this. I want to read his first tweet one more time. Apologize for that. But streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they use music they didn't pay for. Okay. Should be more worried by the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as the publishers decide to enforce it. Except when you use music you didn't pay for, you also didn't have permission from that artist to play that music. When you're playing a game that you're streaming that you didn't pay for, it's because that studio gave it to you in exchange for exposure
exactly
for you streaming it to your million followers.
the context he used is wrong. Yeah.
Yes. So I totally get what you're saying, where he is technically right. If the publishers are like, we're not doing this anymore, you need to pay for the game.
Yeah.
Sure. But a game company doesn't give a shit about giving away a $60 title if they have an opportunity to get it in front of this many people. I will use the PlayStation 5 as a perfect example. How much hype did we see around it with creators getting it today?
Yeah.
Greg Miller, Jonathan Dornbush, Andrea Renee, all these people, tons of followers. They're all hyping this up. They're all talking about that they got the console. And it's not even a $60 game. They're handing out a $500 console.
Yeah.
So I very much disagree with the thought behind it of if you steal music, you're stealing the music. But no. Content creators and publishers are saying, hey, we're willing to part with this very small slice of profit, very minuscule on a $60 game, so that we can maybe have a bunch of people buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I mean, I could see for some of the bigger guys them doing this, like someone like Ninja or like the ones that actually make money, saying, "Hey, like we'll like." I don't agree with it. I can see it happening. I can see a world where it happens, but I don't think it should or like will actually happen.
Can you imagine in any scenario where a publisher goes to Ninja and says, hey, you actually need to pay us if you want to stream that game?
Exactly.
How quick that would bite them in the ass.
Exactly. They'll go, yeah.
Ninja just immediately tweets out, so-and-so wants me to pay for this. No thanks.
Exactly.
Gonna stream this game that says you're good. See you tonight.
I will say the best analogy I heard in defense of Alex,
Hutchinson,
was actually decent analogy was if you own a bar and you want to host UFC,
right?
You pay for the pay-per-view, $100, whatever, and again it brings people in to watch your game, or like NFL Sunday Ticket, like or Red Zone, or whatever. You pay that upfront cost and you get money because of that purchase.
Right.
And that's essentially what I mean. This guy's trying to say, like, hey, you'll still get money, but we're giving you permission to do it. Again, I think because of the ad, how it's handled as like ads in terms of streaming, I think it's not exactly apples to apples. It's really
well, and not only that. So if I own a Buffalo Wild Wings and I go ahead and buy a $60 pay-per-view and I pay the $2,000 in licensing fees to UFC, the reason I had to pay that $2,000 in licensing fees is because I stole that many pay-per-view buys from the UFC by getting them into my restaurant. So that's why I have to do that. Whereas if I give Ninja my game and say, please stream this, and he agrees to it, I'm going to sell more copies of my game and immediately profit off of that by losing the $60. So I would say,
I know.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and call that
Where it gets a little
Apples
fishy,
and oranges.
where it gets a little bit fishy is what I would say is single player games, because
Sure.
you are literally giving someone, and I'm not sure how often those games are given, because it seems like more multiplayer games are the ones that
Yeah.
are given for free, but besides like review copies, but like that's
Sure.
where I can see it being more analogous to a TV or a music option, because it's literally a narrative. Like, I mean, you're paying for the
story.
commentary over top, but you're seeing the whole story. You don't need to pay for
Sure.
the game. But a multiplayer game is more, it's situational. It's all
Right.
Every game is fresh. It's new. It's different experience. So
Yeah.
and we've seen that.
And I would say those.
and
who
we've seen that with
stream
games.
the-
Like I think the Persona games. I think I want to say Atlas has like a lot of issues with people streaming and takes down stuff as well.
Fair.
I can't remember exactly, but I've seen that happen. So like, or they have like blackout cutscenes because of spoilers, because of that kind of stuff. So people will actually go play the game. So you do see some of it to a degree with single player games to mitigate. So this way they can both coexist in terms of the streamers can coexist, and like, hey, I'm gonna give you this game, this narrative game, but all the cinematic scenes, or at least most of them, are gonna be cut out. So these people watching it have a reason to come and buy our game.
Yeah.
So there's ways around it, and I think, but all in
I'm
all,
still disappointed in him that he
absolutely.
would come off of the 3 days of good stuff and just say something like this. And Jason Schreier even said, like, I think it's funny that he says creative director of Google Stadia.
Yeah, when he's
despite the fact that he actually just worked for a studio that was bought by Google.
Yeah, exactly. He worked for the guys. I forget the name of the studio, but they Journey to the Savage Planet. That studio.
Yeah.
So it was not exactly. And people are like, oh, this guy's the director, the creator of Google Stadia. I'm like, it's not really though. I think even the Stadia Source article, they updated it. I think the updates was like, oh no, he's actually the head of this studio, which is
happened to be owned by Google. Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
And
then the other news that's, I wouldn't say this is against Stadia, but just more competition entering the ring. Amazon Luna release info has come out, and you heard it here first. We have an hot exclusive. Jacob Porter getting into that Luna early access. Have you tried it?
No, I did not get into it. Actually,
oh, you didn't? Oh, I thought you got the email.
No, I did not. No.
Damn it! What a setup for nothing.
No, I did not get into it at all. I'm upset. I didn't. I was hoping, but
when you told me to check my email, I thought for some reason I just made
no. I did not get in. Yeah, I did not.
And now, because I have assumed, I have made an ass out of you and me. What do you make of Luna? What are you thinking?
Actually, I forgot that we actually had. I put the guy that the dumbass tweet between these posts, because I was trying to segue the Uplay into actually this.
Whoopsie.
I did still segue.
Going off
I did kind of still segue with the fact that you work for Ubisoft Studio, but
no, you nailed it. I just derailed it all following.
No, it's all my fault. No, it's fine. It's fine. I think it's interesting how they're going about giving it to the people. Apparently, there is like an app actually on PC, but you can also access it through Amazon.com. And I saw a screenshot of someone playing it like in like the Amazon like search bars on top. What is this? Like the whole like the categories and like. I find it's interesting. The price point I think is spot on for the controller. Is it's really cheap, and then they're leveraging the Amazon basics. Hey, let's copy paste the Switch controller, add a different color scheme to it, and make it $50.
Good, yeah. Good old Amazon.
They're charging at $50. It looks mostly to me like a Switch controller, because it has those like outlines around the like hand hold.
Oh yeah.
Like I have my CD controller right here, but it has like lines here, like this, like the Switch controller does.
Right.
I still have the offset ones, like, yeah, it's like it's a Wi-Fi controller, like Stadia.
If you Google Luna controller, because I was like, I want to see this. The top Google search is not Luna controller. The top Google search is Luna controller Switch.
Yep.
Talk about, yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Switch controller.
It does. It looks exactly like the Pro controller.
So yeah, I mean, the controller probably works fine. It's $50, which is pretty cheap. It's good. I mean, Stadia's most of the controllers are $70 now going forward.
Yeah.
So they're doing that Amazon bottom line kind of thing, which is why I don't like it. I don't want to use it because I don't want to support Amazon because they're a terrible company and they're bad for the world.
For sure.
It's not saying Google is great
Jeff
either,
Bezos.
but they have way more control over the commerce, which is just is way too powerful in this world, and to the point where they have their own rocket company now. And all this
Yeah, I mean, Bezos wants us to have a moon colony, and he just cares about asteroid mining. So
Yeah,
no,
so,
screw that guy. I get it.
But yeah, I do actually like the business model for it. It's a good sweet spot between Stadia and Game Pass in terms of like that cloud Game Pass combo. Just because you actually buy individual packages, so it's a little more it's not quite a la carte, but it's a little more like you kind of control your content. Like it's just like a channel. It's what they call it, channels. Yeah. And what's frustrating about this to me is they already a year ago, an E3, the last actual E3, we got Ubisoft Uplay Plus is now coming out and it's gonna be on Stadia first, besides PC.
Right.
And it's been a year since it actually came out. I think it came out in October. And Stadia's been out for almost a year.
Very close.
Still don't have it. And Luna will have a Uplay channel, which during the beta, early access, it's going to have the Luna channel, which is going to have a collection of like 60 games. Control being the biggest one to take from that. It's going to have Grid as well, which Stadia has. Tacoma, Surge, Bloodstained. It's kind of going from Rez, Yooka-Laylee. I pick up any other big ones. Like, obviously, whatchamacallit's the biggest one. Overcooked 2,
right?
Plague Innocence.
They have a lot of Stadia titles on there.
Some Stadia titles like, and some ones are on
World
xCloud too, or
it's
Game Pass, I should really say. I mean, it's a decent lineup of games for $6, I think, a month. I want to say it's $5.99.
Does this make you nervous at all for Stadia?
It does, just because they're the other big cloud company, in terms of like data centers and actual tech in the background to do this. Like they're like, I mean, when you look at the server like rankings, it's like, but they rank the big servers. Like AWS is number 1. It's I think Azure is number 2, and Google's number 3. So like, or I forget if Azure may be higher. I don't know, but
my concern is them
having the
not that Google's broke, but Amazon just has so much capital to throw around at this thing. It's unreal. Jeff Bezos is so rich. He bankrolled a new season of The Expanse out of his own freaking pocket. Didn't even use Amazon money. Like that's too much money.
Yeah, I mean, also the fact that they've been investing into game studios already. Like they have a game coming out next year that they already put out on Steam in like early access, which is the New World. I want to say it's a MMO, and it's apparently did really well in reviews. People like it, and that's the issue with Stadia. Google didn't invest early on into gaming, and then kind of like it was very obvious what Amazon was doing. Like we all knew for years, even when Stadia was announced, like, oh, by the way, Amazon's definitely doing this too.
Yeah,
they're absolutely doing this too. Oh, by the way, Azure service, yeah, they're doing it too. Like we know, but Google was the first one to actually jump on it. But didn't have the stable part of stuff going on. So in that, it worries me. Yeah, they have a few studios. They actually bought. I think they have Steam. I think bought the one of the studios. People that made Firewatch. I think it was Steam that bought. But yeah,
and in that regard, I almost commend Stadia. Like I know right now it looks like they were the dummies who released too early without having a fully fleshed out vision.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just wanted to be first to market.
I think at this point, yeah. I mean, yeah, they wanted to get the name out, hoping the name recognition that it'd be more synonymous with cloud gaming to start off. But they just felt that I don't hate the business model for Stadia. I think with how they've turned Pro into a kind of pseudo like Luna channel, honestly, with like 40 games. Like there's a 60 games. I'm not sure how big the Luna channel is going to get for $6. Again, the price is only for early access too, so the price may change. When the full, again, this is all beta. This is early access. They're not, but again, that's the big problem with Stadia. They didn't label it as early access, which they should have. And by now they should have been a full release. Because they got most of like the wireless stuff now. But anywho, they for $6 a month you get 60 good games. So yeah, I mean it's not bad, but then then you have the UPlay channel, which I think the wording of the UPlay channel is a little different than UPlay Plus. I'm not sure it's got everything UPlay Plus has from the sound of
Yeah,
it, but still having something suit like in the same vein as UPlay Plus is kind of just disappointing.
for sure.
That has been a year and we haven't gotten anything on Stadia yet. And I know they've been
So
testing.
what?
We have confirmation that they've been testing UPlay Plus on Stadia. So it's like
Yeah. What do you think worries you more? And I'm going to segue us. What worries you more, Amazon Luna, or the moves Microsoft is making to really make Game Pass and XCloud a viable option for their future? You know,
Microsoft.
yeah, me too. Microsoft purchased Bethesda and ZeniMax. Huge announcement. That was massive. That was a crazy.
I mean, they bought a E3 presentation.
Exactly. I mean, this is. I will give all the respect in the world to Microsoft. Honestly, this is one of the most baller moves I've ever seen. To be like, oh yeah, the people who make Fallout, people who make Elder Scrolls, people who make Doom, we got them.
And this is where people also forget. Like, people think of Google as this big monolith. They are, and they are, but they're not in the same. They're not in the same business as Microsoft is. They're really not. Like,
Right.
They compete in some markets like Chromebooks as compared to like the Surface stuff and whatnot, but they really aren't the same level of tech company. They do different things. Like,
Right.
Google is a software company. They're not really.
Well, yeah,
they're a
and
hardware
Google's
company,
still
and
100%
Microsoft
is still a search engine company. I mean,
Yeah.
that is still their bread.
that
and
is their
butter.
money. They make a ton of money. They're an ad company, really. They're not even a search company. They're an ad
Totally.
company.
And as somebody who does digital marketing and has to give a ton of money to Google, well, I mean, not personally, but like
Yeah.
uses clients' money on Google consistently, I definitely understand where their business lies.
So yeah, like the people forget how much is because Microsoft's not in the conversation of the Apple with the phones and Samsung with their phones and their TVs and tablets, and they're not in that they're not in the zeitgeist of the mindset of a regular consumer,
Right.
even though they probably use a PC or Windows every day.
Totally.
They have dumb money. They have stupid money, and they enough money to just drop. Okay, Disney spent $4 billion. Was it? No, it was actually less.
$4 billion.
Was it $4 billion on Marvel
For Star Wars?
For Star Wars, it was
For
$4
Lucasfilms?
Yeah,
Yeah, $4 billion.
Microsoft just spent almost double that on a game studio.
Yeah.
And like you're gonna say, oh well, they're buying the IP. It's not as expensive. Like no, you don't understand. Like Lucasfilm is also like ILM, like everything they bought.
Yes. Yeah.
They bought a ton of people. Like you think, oh well, they bought like 400 developers. Like no, they bought a ton of software engineers from Lucasfilm that do crazy stuff. Like
there's a reason, even though he's not anymore, there's a reason that at one point Bill Gates was absolutely the richest man on this planet.
So yeah,
Microsoft has dumb money and they don't mind doing this. And Microsoft, for whatever reason, and I think it's a good move, they came into this next generation and they said, you know what? Fuck the box. Like, we don't care about the box anymore. We want you to play our games wherever that is. Is it your phone? Is it your laptop? Is it your PC? Is it our Xbox? Right on. This is what we're committing to. And it I guess, a Stadia fan, it hurts to see some of the moves Xbox has made, and this is by far the biggest one.
And one of the jokes is always like, is Skyrim gonna run on Stadia? Like, because it's on everything, and like now it's like, oh no, it's definitely not gonna be on Stadia.
Definitely not. No, not at all. Now
that's what hurts so much is like because Bethesda was such a good supporter of Stadia. Like,
they were really behind
early
them
on and everything, and then now it's kind of a person in the race for Stadia is gone, like a good partner. Granted, still have UB, but and I think honestly at this point Google should just take out the thing and slap it in. Hey, we're gonna buy UB, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
I know, but they should, and they have the money.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Whether they, and that's the thing. Like, people don't take Google seriously because they think, oh well, they can just can it. If they make even a decent purchase, like even buying like even if they did actually buy some or most of the studios from Warner Brothers or AT&T, I think that would be enough of a message. Like, oh no, Google's in this to actually play. Like, and that's the thing. Like, they don't.
And that's what they need.
Yeah. But now they have the class action lawsuit with Google, which obviously, I mean, Amazon's going to have one soon after, and Facebook and Apple, because they did the whole antitrust lawsuit, antitrust hearing, and this is Google's the first big one to come out of it. So yeah, people on Twitter were saying like, well, maybe that's why they're not purchasing studios, because of no, Amazon's going to get hit with the lawsuit too. They just announced Luna, like
it's
they don't
coming.
care, like
yeah. So anyways, I say kudos to Microsoft. Cool move on their part. I mean, not for us.
It's not going to affect. It's not actually really going to affect us, because I think games like Starfield and the big titles are going to be on PlayStation 5. Absolutely.
Because why would you not? Why would you lose out on those units?
Because those games sell dummy money. Like why?
Right.
Like, oh yeah.
There's a reason Skyrim has been on 40,000 consoles.
We're going to give Bethesda the same amount of money that they were spending on Starfield for all of these consoles, and we're only going to sell a third of those.
Yeah, and no, absolutely not.
I mean, they're not.
I'm with you. Do you follow Paris? He was talking about it, and he got on XCast and was very adamant that you don't spend this kind of money and then not make it an exclusive to compete with Sony's exclusives. I totally disagree.
No, you take the smaller titles and make them exclusive, the more niche ones.
Yeah. Well, and even then, though, Microsoft and Sony are now playing two different games.
Yeah.
Sony is still wanting to sell the box. So they're going to hold on to The Last of Us and Horizon 2 and God of War 2. They're going to hold on to these
at least for a year or two until they run their course, and then they'll put them on like exactly. On PC or whatever.
However they've been doing
probably PC, honestly. I think they're open to it now.
Right. Xbox has now proven, hey, Game Pass day one, hey this, hey that. They have proven that they want to move software.
Yeah.
They are in the software business.
They're a software company.
So I literally cannot imagine a world where they don't put the next Elder Scrolls game on every console and sell 1 trillion copies.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And then but it makes me sad as a Dishonored fan that probably I will never get Dishonored on a PlayStation. I'll tell you what this means, Aaron. As you're typing into the chat. So one of the games that we got for this month was Dead by Daylight for Pro.
Oh,
yeah, we kind of
Dead by Daylight, DBD.
So,
I get it.
We didn't go over because we kind of missed like a month and a half of this podcast. Sure. We decided to stream one day instead of recording.
Right. So that's actually the big reason. I actually want to stop and plug this real quick because I hope we do it more. The last time we were going to record, we were like, you know what? Why don't we try streaming and try some of this crowd choice stuff? And so me and you jumped on and we played some Dead by Daylight, and it was a lot of fun. We had people picking your character. That was really cool. We found out I'm not very good at this game. Although I was like our only hope at one point, I think.
Yes, you were.
But
you were.
It's fine.
I also learned that my internet is not good for playing and streaming Stadia at the same time.
Although we looked at my upload speeds recently. Isn't that right?
I think that can't be right. I feel like do you have fiber?
Yeah.
So like that doesn't make any sense. There's absolutely no reason that had to be a bug, because like I'm on cable broadband, so like I was just on a local company that actually just got purchased by Optimum, but it's still cable broadband, but they actually just up the all of our data. Like the plan I currently have doesn't exist under I think I'm grandfathered in, but they actually upped my uploads because it was like 80 down, 6 up, and they actually upped it to 25 up as the minimum. So jeez, I'm not sure when that happened. It was before or after our stream. Dude, they did so many weird things. Like I bought my house. I paid for a plan, and then all of a sudden a month later they doubled the speeds for all the plans. I'm like, same money. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Not mad about it.
And then
crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, Stadia, awesome. I can actually play it fully. Like I was I was at 40 and I'm at 80 down. Sweet. So yeah, but yeah, just where I am is tough. So
yeah. But anyways, back to DBD cross progression. So we streamed it. It was a little rough, sure, but still a lot of fun. And I hope we start doing more of this. I would love to jump into different games and just let that kind of crowd choice thing. I might be using our channel a little bit more to try to do some Baldur's Gate stuff, just awesome. Solo, and just because I'm very curious about it. Thank you. I need one vote to make decisions. So anyways, Dead by Daylight, you have sank some hours into this.
Previously, I've sunk some hours into this on
not
Steam.
on Stadia for sure, yeah. So this is huge news for you.
Yeah, I like the game a lot. I just didn't. I I played it in a big chunk, and I was still buying DLC for the game even though I wasn't playing it heavily. And they actually added cross progression with Stadia specifically between Steam and Stadia right now. It's going to come to other stuff too. They just did their own account, which didn't come out at the release on Stadia. It came like a week or two afterwards. So yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. Sorry.
I love that we just update the doc episode. It's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. I was gonna.
Anyways, so how many like killers and skins and all that kind of stuff like are you gaining by this happening?
I mean, I got. I mean, I don't have all the DLC, but I probably had like 3 or 4 packs. So like probably 8 more survivors and like another 3 or 4 killers. So
cool. Do you think this moves the needle for Stadia? Like people that obviously you got it for free on Pro, which is awesome.
I mean, it's already cross play too and cross progression, so it doesn't move the needle for Stadia. No, it's like, but that it's a kind of a niche fan base for that game. Although it does really well on like Twitch and whatnot. But I think it just brings Stadia into the conversation and it legitimizes Stadia to a degree because it's a bigger streamed game that now getting full support from the developer first before any other console. I mean, it was a PlayStation Plus game at one point for Dead by Daylight, and even it's not getting cross progression. So it's like one city is willing to play ball with cross progression, which is good news because that means like any of the games that have cross progression, we don't have to worry about that conversation on are they going to support it? Are they going to worry about microtransactions? Like no, they don't care. They go ahead.
Avengers,
exactly.
Give me that cross progression. I will be listen. Even if it's Dear Stadia, I'm paying $60 for Avengers. If you give me cross progression, I'm buying that game twice right now.
Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. So it's like it's really good that they're doing a cross progression. Just it legitimizes Stadia, to be honest.
Totally agreed.
Yeah. We cut out the one thing. I just want to say one thing about the other thing that we said. Uplay forward, which is like way beyond that now. Ubisoft did actually announce a bunch of games that were already out coming to Stadia beyond the ones we already know are coming out. Like we're getting Watch Dogs 2, we're getting like Far Cry 5,
Assassin's Creed, Origins,
Syndicate, and Unity. So we're getting a bigger back catalog, which is going to be good. I think it's just good for the games. And also, to me, it's something set up for when they do actually have Uplay, because this way we know, hey, those games that play on Uplay Plus are going to be there to play in the catalog. Because that's the big worry about Uplay Plus is Uplay Plus is like 200 games. Right. But how many games are we really going to be able to play on Stadia? Because do they need to be already supported? Is there a fork there where they can run an emulator that runs like Prince of Persia, the first one? So like you know, like
speaking my language, let me play Prince of Persia on Stadia.
Like it's like so. Well, we got the announcement of Prince of Persia, the remake.
Yeah.
Time, which
the
probably
remake
be coming. I think it's coming to Stadia whenever it does come out.
Yeah. Although I gotta say that remake, out of all the HD remakes I've seen, like that one was not.
I think they're gonna let that one cook a little bit longer.
I think so too. I think it gets delayed. Especially when the announcement was like, we built this from the ground up. We redid
Did you build it from the ground up like, about 10 years ago?
Yeah. I love the Prince of Persia franchise, so that was a little bit disappointing. But
I never played it, but I watched my friend play a ton of Sands of Time. So
good. That whole franchise. Well, that's not true. But that whole trilogy.
I just wanted to at least say that in the breath that I think it does have some, to what we were talking about before, it does have some.
Yeah. But you know who's not going to be playing Prince of Persia on Stadia?
People on
anyone with Apple. Apple continues their assault on cloud gaming. This is absolutely ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
There was a workaround for a little bit called Stadium, which was a very simple workaround where people could be playing Stadia on iOS. Apple has come through and said, not today, not in my house. We hate Stadia.
Apparently, I had to do something with how they were using the WebKit to sync Bluetooth, but which is confusing to me because Luna, how it's gonna be working. Oh, I kind of like is Luna is gonna be working on iOS before Android, which is just bonkers to me. But it's using a web app to do it. Essentially, what Stadium does, the Stadium browser that they built to do this, is going to be taking down work. If you already have the browser downloaded, you won't lose access to it. It'll still work fine. And apparently the developer's kind of trying to work around it. He understands where they're coming from to a degree, but hopefully he can fix it and keep it going. Because I've heard from people that have used it say it works awesome. Like it works great.
Right.
So it also proves that clearly Google's not the problem with why it working. Like we already knew that with the Microsoft X Cloud and everything like that. Like, that's why.
Yeah.
But this is even more proof. Like, no, the tech wise, it works. It can absolutely work.
This is full proof that Apple is once again just absolutely in bed with Amazon. Amazon has been able to skirt their 30% ridiculous fee over and over. Nobody cares. And this is just a further of that. It's absolutely disgusting to me how the lengths they'll go through to be like, this shit doesn't work and we don't like it and you're doing things wrong and we want our money and we're like, look at us, we're just trying to support ourselves. And then Amazon is like, yeah, but okay, can we get around these rules? And Apple immediately every single time is just like, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
And I get it. Luna is still going to have to go through a browser, right? Isn't that how they're
Which
doing
is
their workaround?
It's going to make the barrier to entry a little lower in terms of like exposure because it's not going to be in this app store. So
Right.
but still,
it's
frustrating.
It's gross. And I think the only reason they're not coming to the app store is because they can't figure out a way to say, well, this is why we didn't let Stadia and xCloud onto Apple, but this is why we let Luna on.
And especially with everything with Epic Games too, with them too, like that would absolutely cause a lot
Destroy them.
So
I'm an Apple hater, and I'm okay admitting that. I just don't love them as a company.
You're buying my wife has a 10-year-old MacBook that works just fine. It takes 5 minutes to boot up now, but it works still. But
yeah. And I get it. I mean, and that's the thing, as I won't knock their product, right? Like, I can't sit here and tell you it doesn't work. I just think they're kind of scummy as a company, and I don't love how much they're always willing to bend over backwards for Amazon, but literally no one else. And Luna was just another feather in that cap.
Gotta love when two monoliths just like play fun,
loving each other.
Yeah. And then the last little bit, is just. Finally for Stadia we get something. And actually, a funny thing is a guy actually bought on I'm kind of funny. Actually, he just bought one from a Stadia Premier Edition from Best Buy. Even though they're doing a 20% off right now, actually through
Stadia, there's a Google store.
Google, but the shipping is like you're not going to get it for a month.
Right.
I think he said the month. Like,
he said it was like November 27th or something ridiculous.
Like, I just want to play it now, so he
bought
it from paid an extra $20 and bought it from Best Buy. Because you can get it tomorrow.
Right.
So yeah, that was really cool to see that he actually bought it from there, and just having it in shelves. Granted, COVID times, who's really walking through a Best Buy right now, but still, like when things do get better in the world, like even the people that are going through that, at least it's there. Like you see it now. Speaking of that, I'm really curious how Black Friday is going to go this year. It's gonna be really weird.
I
used to go to Best Buy just to walk around.
Me too. And I used to be the person, I wasn't really hunting for big deals, but what I was is like, okay, I got through Thanksgiving dinner and I cleaned everything up and everything. And then I went out on Thursday night but it had nothing to do with any of the big purchases. But I would clear my family's Christmas, and I don't mean my wife and my kid, but like, parents and siblings and all that kind of stuff, by literally just walking around Best Buy or Target and grabbing those like $4 movies that were brand new. That was my jam. This year, obviously, even if it does try to look somewhat normal, I won't be participating. I'll be hanging out at home. But
exactly,
man,
I worked a Black Friday at GameStop too. Actually,
me too. Oh,
that's fun.
Oh, PTSD.
Well, the funny thing about it, actually, I worked a double shift. I worked at midnight and I worked at noon. And the noon shift was way worse than the midnight shift.
Totally.
Because you're slammed for 30 minutes and then everyone goes back to bed.
Right.
But then at noon, literally the entire floor was filled with people.
Ridiculous.
So, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how Black Friday works this year.
You passed right over it. I still want to talk really briefly. We're 23 days into the month. I totally get it. But I just wanted to touch on the pro games real quick. This month on Stadia, the pro games were Human Fall Flat, Super Hot Mind Control Delete, Jotun Valhalla Edition, Lara Croft, Temple of Osiris, Celeste, and Dead by Daylight. The only reason I did want to still go ahead and hold on to this was because we have played Dead by Daylight. I have played Celeste. I have played Jotun.
Celeste too, actually.
Nice. Did you play Super Hot?
Oh, we bought it.
We both bought it.
No, I didn't beat it yet. No, I've been going through it slowly. I think I'm in the third chapter. I love that game. It's been so long since I've actually played it, so I didn't think about it. I actually really love that game.
Yeah.
It's really cool how they do it. It's kind of run like mini run based. It was like each level was like you go through like 6 different rooms and you actually have health. You actually have like 2 or 3 health that you can
Oh,
hits you
wow.
can take throughout the whole thing though. So if you die at all in that try, you can go
All the
back to the
way.
beginning. And they actually
Yeah.
added like hacks to it too. So you get like, oh, like your things that you throw are forceful now, so like kill people by like throwing like inanimate objects,
Yeah.
or your guns will fire faster, reload times are better. You start with a katana, or you start with a random gun. Like they add some cool, unique things to it that keep it fresh,
Nice.
and it's really fun. I got really frustrated at times with it, just because I'm like, damn it, I died. I'm like, I gotta need to put it down. I just need to put it down.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
One of those games where like you're gripping your controller just a little too tight, and you're like, oh,
But
okay, okay,
it's
okay.
fantastic. I love Super
Nice.
Hot. It's the same Super Hot game you play, you love, but some unique changes. Like also like certain enemies can only be hurt on certain body parts.
Oh,
Only
that's
they don't
interesting.
die. So like yeah, some cool stuff. I've actually played Human Fall Flat before, but at PAX I played Human Fall Flat. It was really fun like game to play co-op with 2 people or a few people.
I'll have to check that one out. And then we
It's
were
a puzzle
obviously
game.
talked about Jotun at the top of the hour. Lara Croft does not interest me at all, I'll be honest. Really enjoying Celeste. And then this was my first time playing Dead by Daylight because it was pro.
Yeah.
So I think that was the only reason I wanted to highlight it was because we had played the majority of these.
Yeah,
and I think
it's a big
it
month, too, for
continues to
games.
just be a good value add. Like pro to me is always worth the $10. So
I'm not sure they dropped. Did they drop any games this month? Because usually they drop at least 1 game, but I don't think they dropped any games.
No, I don't think so.
So that's
So-
pretty big. So the library is like at any given time it's like 30 games at this point.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's almost like Luna subscription is like, but your library is actually building as you play. Like
right.
as opposed to just like, oh, we'll swap out a game and pull a game out and put a new game in. But like one thing is pulled out, you can't play it. It's gone.
Right.
So like this, if they pull it, it's like, oh, but if you claimed it before, then you still have it. So
right.
like I said, yeah, with Luna, it's a decent happy medium between the two. If you like that kind of, if you want subscriptions, but I'm happy honestly with.
Nice.
And this is a good showing, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I said, Celeste I never played before. I think I got this through the second chapter of the game, and I really enjoyed it so far. So it's been fun.
Awesome. Yeah, Celeste is great. So frustrating at times, but it's one of those games that it's so satisfying once you get through the next thing that it's absolutely.
I have had one. I think it may have been latency issue with the game when I was trying to land. I was trying to do a dash and land on a platform, and you had to it was like one platform with spikes around it, like one two person width. I'm not sure if it was the momentum or the latency or both. That I kept sliding a little bit further and falling on the spikes, which is a little frustrating. But that's the only really frustrating moment I've had. There's that one. Besides that, I haven't really noticed anything. So
cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, we ran a little.
Thank you. As always, this was a longer episode. That's because we missed you all. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Stadia Source again for having us on. Hopefully we won't be on as long of a hiatus between episodes this next time.
Yeah.
And we'll talk again soon. Yeah, same here. I mean, life happens, and we appreciate that you guys totally understand that we're just in it for the funsies.
Yeah. Fun.
So, awesome. Well, until next time, thanks for listening.